It was a quiet afternoon, and my husband was away for a few days on a business trip. The house felt peaceful, and I decided to take advantage of the quiet by treating myself to a long, relaxing bath. I filled the tub with warm water and added my favorite lavender bath salts. As I settled in, the warmth enveloped me, and I let out a contented sigh. As I soaked, I found my thoughts drifting to my son-in-law, Jackson. He had always been charming and friendly, with a smile that could light up any room. I remembered all the family gatherings where he would make everyone laugh with his stories and jokes. I appreciated how easy he was to talk to, but lately, there had been something more in our conversations. He would look at me with a warmth that lingered just a bit longer than necessary. I brushed those thoughts aside, reminding myself that he was my daughter's husband. Suddenly, I heard footsteps approaching. My heart skipped a beat when I heard Jackson's voice on the other side of the door. "Mom, are you in there?" Yes, just taking a bath," I called back, feeling a mix of surprise and curiosity. I never expected him to check in on me like this. "Can I come in for a second?" he asked. My mind raced. Part of me wanted to say no, but I found myself saying, "Sure." Jackson opened the door and stepped inside. He leaned casually against the doorframe, looking relaxed and confident. "I just wanted to see if you needed anything," he said, his eyes sparkling with mischief. I smiled, feeling a little flustered. "I'm okay, really, just enjoying some peace and quiet." But he stepped closer, and I felt a rush of warmth wash over me. "Mind if I join you? It looks really inviting," he said, a playful grin on his face. I hesitated, my mind racing with thoughts of what was right and wrong. "Jackson, that's not really appropriate," I said, but my voice was uncertain. "Come on, it's just water, I promise I won't bite," he teased. I felt a thrill at his words, and for a moment I considered the possibility. I looked at him and saw the warmth in his eyes, and I felt an urge to say yes. "Okay," I whispered, my heart racing. Jackson quickly removed his shirt and stepped into the tub beside me. The water splashed gently around us, and I felt a strange mix of excitement and nerves. We were now sharing a small space, and the atmosphere felt charged. We started to chat, and I was surprised at how easily the conversation flowed. We talked about everything: our favorite movies, silly family moments, and plans for the future. The laughter came naturally, and I felt lighter, as if all my worries were drifting away. We both shared a laugh, breaking the tension that hung in the air. But I knew this was a moment we couldn't take back. He leaned in and kissed me on the lips. The kiss was so intense that I became lost in the pleasure. We had stepped into new territory, and everything had changed. As we sat there in the bathtub, surrounded by bubbles and the warmth of the water, I realized that sometimes life surprises us in ways we never expect. This moment, filled with unexpected connection and excitement, was something I would always remember. We talked a little more, sharing our thoughts about what had just happened, both of us aware that it would affect our relationship. But at that moment, all that mattered was the bond we had discovered, something that felt both thrilling and new. In the days to come, as I replayed that afternoon in my mind, I knew our lives had taken a turn. It was a secret moment, a surprise that would linger in the air between us, reshaping our family dynamic in ways we would have to navigate together. And as I looked into Jackson's eyes, I felt a mix of excitement and uncertainty about what the future held. As I looked into Jackson's eyes, I felt a mix of excitement and uncertainty about what the future held. The kiss had opened a door to a new kind of relationship, one that was filled with possibilities. We both knew we had crossed a line, but there was a spark between us that felt undeniable. In the days that followed, our interactions were filled with a new energy. I noticed the way Jackson would steal glances at me during family dinners, his eyes lingering just a moment longer than usual. It made my heart race. Our conversations became laced with playful teasing and deeper connections. One evening, while my husband was still away, Jackson stopped by to check on me. We sat together in the living room, sharing stories and laughter. The atmosphere felt charged, like electricity crackling in the air. As the evening wore on, I couldn't help but feel drawn to him. "Can I get you something to drink?" I asked, hoping to keep the mood light. "Sure, a glass of wine would be nice," he replied, his voice warm. As I moved to the kitchen, I could feel his gaze on me, and I felt a flutter in my stomach. When I returned with 2 glasses, I noticed him watching me closely. "You look really beautiful tonight," he said, and my cheeks flushed at the compliment. "Thank you," I replied, feeling a thrill at his words. We clinked our glasses together and took a sip, the wine smooth and rich, adding to the cozy atmosphere. As we talked more, the tension grew. The laughter faded, replaced by something deeper. I could see it in his eyes, a longing that mirrored my own. I felt bold as I leaned in closer, our knees touching on the couch. "Jackson, can we talk about what happened?" I asked softly, my heart racing at the thought of addressing the elephant in the room. "Yeah, I've been thinking about it a lot," he replied, his voice steady but filled with emotion. "It felt different, special. I can't stop thinking about that moment." I nodded, feeling the weight of his words. "Me too. It was unexpected, but it made me realize how much I care about you." He took a deep breath, leaning in even closer. "I don't want to ruin anything between us, but I also can't ignore what I feel." I felt a warmth spread through me at his honesty. "Neither can I. It's complicated, but I don't want to pretend that this connection isn't real." He reached out, brushing his fingers against my hand. "What if we explore this together, just the 2 of us?" I felt a rush of excitement at his suggestion. "I'd like that," I whispered. Slowly, he leaned in, and our lips met once again. This time, the kiss was deeper, filled with all the unspoken emotions that had built up between us. I felt myself melting into him, the world outside fading away. As we pulled back, breathless, he started to remove my bikini like he owned my body, and right to do so. I was fully naked now, and he started to rub his hard rod with me. My body was lost in his touch, and suddenly he was naked, and he slipped his rod into my body. It was all inside me. That long and hard thing inside me made me feel like I'm full of energy. He took the chance and did everything he could. At that moment, I knew that this was just the beginning of something new and beautiful. The bond we were forming was something special, and I was excited to see where it would lead us. Over the next few weeks, we spent more time together, finding excuses to meet. Each moment was filled with laughter, shared secrets, and growing affection. We would often find ourselves stealing glances, our hands brushing against each other, and every touch ignited a spark. One evening, we decided to watch a movie together at my house. The lights were dim, and as we settled on the couch, I felt a mix of excitement and nerves. The movie played in the background, but our attention was focused on each other. Jackson turned to me, his expression serious yet soft. "I really enjoy our time together," he said. "You make me feel alive." I felt a warmth spread through me at his words. "You make me feel the same way," I replied, my heart racing. Without thinking, I leaned in closer and he met me halfway. Our lips touched, and the kiss deepened, full of passion and longing. I felt his hands gently cradle my face, and I melted into the moment. The world outside faded away, and it was just the 2 of us, lost in each other. I felt a sense of freedom, like we could be ourselves without the weight of expectations. As we broke the kiss, Jackson smiled at me, his eyes sparkling. "I don't want this to end," he said softly. "Neither do I replied, feeling a rush of emotions. We did it again. From that point on, our connection only deepened. We began to explore our feelings openly, sharing our hopes and dreams. I felt a sense of joy I hadn't experienced in a long time. Each moment spent together felt like a new adventure filled with promise and excitement. With every shared laugh, every lingering touch, We built a bond that felt unbreakable. I knew this was more than just a fleeting moment. It was the start of something beautiful. And as I looked into Jackson's eyes, I realized that I was ready to embrace whatever came next, together.